The actions take place in Bangkok, Thailand. Despite being blind, a woman named Gina manages everything on her own. She is also happy in her marriage. Gina's husband, James, constantly reproaches her for smoking. This morning, Gina received a call from her sister, who wished her good luck today. Gina confessed that lately, she has been thinking a lot about the parents. They are the last things she saw. In the metro, Gina listens to the sounds around her, just like on the street. The colors of this world ceased to exist for Gina a long time ago. The spouses arrived at the clinic. James was as anxious as his wife. Dr. Hughes conducted an examination. Being in a confined space, Gina panicked and asked the husband to take her away from here. James held her hand, encouraging. They have to go through this together. The doctor concluded that corneal transplantation and iris reconstruction of the right eye, along with implantation, are possible. The optic nerve was seriously damaged. It does not transmit information to the brain, so she will see only with one eye. Hearing this, Gina and James were happy. They had been waiting for this for a long time. However, there was a long waiting list for the operation, so they would have to wait for a while. Meanwhile, Gina's life continues as usual. She has long wanted to become a mother. Despite her blindness, Gina can play the guitar and tutors others. In the evenings, Gina studies the Thai language. She wants to be as independent as possible. However, James enjoys taking care of his wife. They both want to have a child and become a complete family. When Gina asked the husband if taking care of her gets tiresome, James replied that the most important thing is that she needs him. While swimming in the pool, Daniel, an acquaintance, approached Gina to greet her. Later Karen, Gina's best friend, told her that Daniel is very attractive. But as long as Gina is blind, she cannot appreciate it. Gina's pupil cried because her mother wants to put their dog to sleep. It turned out that the girl's mother is pregnant and believes she won't be able to handle both the pet and the baby at the same time. Touched with pity, Gina took the dog. Seeing the wife's distressed state, James guessed that she couldn't get pregnant again. To cheer Gina up, James took her for a walk. The spouses had fun at a noisy party at the club. At one point during the dance, Gina felt disoriented and told her husband that she wanted to leave right away. He walked her to the restroom. When Gina finished and came out, she realized that James was not around. This made her panic. Someone asked whom she lost, but Gina couldn't even describe what her husband looked like. All this time, James watched from the sidelines. He lied to his wife that he was only distracted for a moment. Gina wanted to leave as soon as possible. The dog made a mess in the apartment, which of course James didn't like. But Gina turned it into a joke. She cannot allow anyone to hurt her pet. That same evening, Gina received a call from the clinic. Soon she found herself on the operating table. During anesthesia, Gina's mind flashed memories of the fatal accident that took her parents' lives. It was then that Gina lost her sight. After some time, the doctor removed the bandage from Gina's right eye. James was there the whole time. When Gina opened her eye, she saw blurry silhouettes in front of her. Her vision had been restored by 10%, but this was just the beginning. Seeing her husband for the first time, Gina cried tears of joy. James shared her feelings completely. Now their lives will completely change. Gina is rapidly recovering. However, she still hasn't mustered the courage to look at her reflection in the mirror. James encourages his wife, saying that she is the most beautiful. James doesn't look the way Gina imagined. But that's not a bad thing. At night Gina can't sleep, looking at her hands. Then she finally gathered the courage and approached the mirror, seeing herself for the first time. It was a strange and extremely unusual feeling. Now Gina experiences the surrounding world anew. What healthy people take for granted every day is a novelty for her. Having prescribed the necessary treatment for Gina, the doctor discharged her from the hospital. This is the first time since the accident that Gina will be walking on the street and seeing everything around her. Gina felt excited like a child. James took his wife for a walk to see even more colors. No one but Gina pays attention to all this beauty. For her, it's like a second birth. Gina also saw their apartment for the first time. It's not how she imagined it. As a surprise, James gave his wife 2 tickets to southern Spain, to the same hotel where they spent their honeymoon. Gina was thrilled. It's the best gift the husband could give her. The next day, without his wife's knowledge, James went to the clinic and underwent fertility tests. Soon the couple embarked on a journey. It seems like this is happiness. Now blue is Gina's favorite color because it's the color of the sky. The spouses checked into the same room where they spent their honeymoon. In the evening, Gina told her husband that she feels like it's not the same room. It's hard to explain, but it's different here. However, James assured her that it's the same room. At the time Gina was blind, so she can't know. From now on, Gina enjoys the opportunities that her new life has given her every day. She strives to explore the world independently, while the husband continues to take care of her persistently. Gina no longer needs help to order drinks at the bar. James clearly didn't like that his wife was talking to some guy. Later, Gina told her husband that the guy's name is Ollie. He and his wife are on their honeymoon, and they checked into that very room. It turned out that James knew about it from the beginning but didn't intend to tell his wife. She wasn't angry with him. A few days later, the couple took a train to Barcelona and visited Gina's sister, Carla. She has a loving husband and 2 children. James mentioned that he and Gina also plan to have a child in the near future. In the evening, as James dozed off, Carla did her sister's makeup. Tomorrow, they plan to go together to the same tunnel where the accident happened. Seeing his wife in provocative clothes and with bright makeup, James had mixed feelings. Previously, he chose completely different outfits for his wife. The 2 couples plan to drink and have fun all night. Gina wants new experiences, which clearly does not please her husband. James fears that since Gina has begun to regain her sight, she will attract other men much better than him. Indeed, other men started paying attention to Gina, as she now looks different. While intoxicated, Gina began to resent indecent gestures towards herself. Ramon, Carla's husband, got into a fight on the street. Gina didn't like that the husband didn't stand up for her. He in turn doesn't like that his wife humiliates him in front of her sister and Ramon. The previous passion and trust between the spouses disappeared. The next day, they all went to the very same tunnel. For Gina, it was important to face her fear. Only this way could she let go of the past and move forward. The sisters hugged, feeling mutual support. They both needed it. Soon Gina and James returned home. Gina said it would be better for them to find another place to live. But James doesn't want to move, he likes it here. James is still taking care of his wife, but now she doesn't need his help. This greatly upsets James. Moreover, he begins to suspect that Gina has cooled towards him and wants something new. Later, James went to see a doctor and found out that he cannot become a father. For James it was a big blow, as his wife really wants a complete family. On a walk in the park, Gina met Daniel from the pool. He was surprised that she was now able to see. James is genuinely happy for his acquaintance and offered to have coffee together. But Gina politely declined. In the evening, James prepared dinner. He didn't expect to see his wife in a new look. Gina changed her hair color to look brighter. Gina also said that tomorrow she will go to see a new house. James reminded her that he would be at work at that time, but Gina didn't see any problem with that. If she likes the house, they will go together next time. Gina volunteered to finish cooking herself. Now James doesn't have to do all the housework alone. During dinner, James reminded his wife that they were soon going to a party. James wants her to wear something inconspicuous. Gina didn't like what she heard. She directly asked James if he loved her more when she was blind. James avoided answering. The next day, Gina looked at the new house. She liked it here. This house is big enough for a family with children. Later, Gina felt pain in her eye but didn't pay much attention. Her husband took the news of the new house without joy. Due to strange symptoms, Gina went to see the doctor, who said it seemed like a minor rejection of the iris. Dr. Hughes prescribed a double dose of eye drops for the patient. Gina is very afraid of losing what she has gained. Talking on the phone with her sister, Gina shared her concerns, unaware that her husband had replaced the drops in the meantime. Before bedtime, Gina took the medicine again, while James was going crazy with jealousy. He is most afraid of losing control over his wife. The doctor is puzzled as to why the eye is rejecting the transplant, as the operation was successful. Thinking it might be the drops, the doctor intended to send it for analysis to a pharmacologist. At home, Gina threw a tantrum because her vision continues to deteriorate rapidly. The husband hugged her, calming. Of course, their plans to go to the party were cancelled. The next day in the park, Gina met Daniel again. Since Gina's dog overheated in the sun, Daniel suggested they go to his house where it's cool. Fortunately, the dog was fine. Gina sincerely thanked Daniel for his help. When he kissed her, she reciprocated. Passion arose between them. Meanwhile, James looked at the house and was satisfied. Gina was coming home in tears. She felt guilty towards the husband, who had been there for her all this time, despite everything. James told his wife that he agreed to buy the house by the river. He also managed to lower the price. It's good news, but Gina couldn't genuinely rejoice. Her life began to crumble. Soon she received a call from Dr. Hughes, who said the test results were ready. Those were not the drops he prescribed. Hearing this, Gina was puzzled. When Gina returned, she saw police and a mess in the apartment. Someone had broken into their home. Gina immediately called her husband and asked him to come. Gina is most worried about her dog, which has gone missing. She tried to find her pet in the park, but to no avail. Here, Gina crossed paths with Daniel and James. She and Daniel pretended not to know each other, But James still suspected something, leading to an argument between the spouses. Later at the pool, Daniel approached Gina. She made it clear that nothing could happen between them. During the night, Gina woke up to her husband walking around the apartment. When she called out to him, James said he just wanted a drink. When James returned to bed, Gina told him she was pregnant. However, she is unaware of the husband's infertility. Later, Gina called Daniel, but he didn't answer. Gina cried, knowing that Daniel was planning to leave soon. Now Gina needs a cane again to navigate because she can hardly see anything. The spouses move to the new house. James takes care of his wife again, feeling his dominance. However, there is tension between them because of unspoken words and mutual mistrust. When her husband went to work, Gina found a letter. Meanwhile, James returned to their old apartment and discovered a stash in the bathroom shelf with samples of drops prescribed by the doctor. James urgently went to the new house, where he found a photo of their pet and a letter from a woman who had witnessed a man abandoning the dog. The woman wrote that she intended to keep the dog and take care of it. Gina and her pupil Lucy took the stage with a song of their own composition. Of course, James was among the audience. From his wife's expression, he understood that she had been faking her returning blindness all along. This means Gina had exposed his deception. She was also aware that he had staged the robbery of their apartment and abandoned the dog. Unable to bear it, James left, and feeling desperate, drove ahead on the road. Perhaps he intentionally collided with an oncoming truck. A few months later, Gina gave birth. Looking at her baby for the first time, Gina experienced true happiness. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss more exciting new products. Also, the authors will be pleased if you leave your opinion in the comments.